So welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander.
And I'm Grant.
And today we're doing our monthly debrief for May, finally. I know it is the middle of June, quite literally.
June 14 today.
So you'll probably see this in another couple of days, so it'll be even later than that. But
well, when can you, like Monday or Tuesday, you can probably get it up?
I will, I'll do it over the weekend, but it'll probably be Monday or Tuesday, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, everyone. This particular video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. A little bit more from them later on, but we're very grateful for their sponsorship. This is a bit delayed. I feel like it's just, I'm so busy with work at the moment, and everything's a bit hectic.
We've also not quite played as much, only because we've had other things come up. So
it's just it's the kind of that time of year, and I think, and I don't know if it's getting any better. It feels like...
Well, July's going to be worse because you're going out of the country for a week.
But at least you're doing stuff.
I'm going to WBC.
So you'll at least play a bunch.
And I'm going to Gen Con.
I'll be playing a lot of not war games.
Sure. I think what do you guys play when you go over there? You can't get them to play like some war games, like a...
The problem is
Mare Nostrum even?
I would have to...
You'd have to lug it.
I got to lug it, or I got to have them have it.
Why don't you check a bag with a bunch of games in it?
Let's never do that ever again.
Why?
Because there is no safe way to do that.
Because my Fire in the Lake is broken now because of it, and my John Company is broken now because I hate it too.
Not worth it. It does.
So frustrating.
So
I almost want to buy whole new games just so I don't have to deal with a split box. Is that bad?
Well, because you can't buy just the box,
No,
right?
I wish you could.
It's kind of a bummer.
Very much a bummer.
You should sell me just the empty box that's printed.
Every game company should just do that. Anyway, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We will never do that again. I will take like one game in my backpack.
That's brave.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It is. Because that gets crammed up under the seats.
It was kind of funny. That was one of the actual suggestions for this month's topic was like, it's that time of the year. How do you like travel with games? And like, I'm like, you don't. You drive a car.
Unless you're driving.
That's it.
When we go to WBC, we have like a whole backload full. And I'll take probably 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I won't have you, so I have to take games that I'm comfortable with.
And also, you might need fewer player counts also because I'm not there. So you might be like 4-player games instead of the 6-player games.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be a totally different experience. Oh, wait, you had that experience last year.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Although you and I had gone together, so we had brought it on again.
Yeah, we had.
So it's like, great.
Man, that's almost been a year.
Yeah.
Insane.
2025, we'll both be there.
Yep.
2024 is just you, because I got a family reunion this year.
Yep.
So that's kind of a bummer for me, but...
Yeah, it is. Well, you need to tell them that...
I have to see my family.
Well, you have to tell them July's off. From now on, you just can't... Just do early July.
We'll also just never do it again. That's the reality of it.
Probably.
Yeah, that's...
family schmamily.
Unfortunately, that's happening because that's when their summer holidays start and ours end, and that's the only overlap for kids to not be taken out of school, basically. So,
you think Koos would miss school?
No, and that's kind of what I said, is I'm like, we don't care. I will take my kid out of school.
Yeah, I mean, he's in 3rd grade now?
They can be a bit more strict about it over there.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
So, yeah, it's not the...
My daughter, who's in middle school, and she'll be a freshman, she missed 11 days this year. 4 of them were from COVID.
Sure.
They sent a letter home telling her next year that she can't miss as many days. I was like, 11 days in a full 9 months of school? It didn't seem like that many. And I'm telling you, 4 of them were for COVID. She had COVID.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Crazy. We digress. What are we talking about? What are we doing here?
We were talking about, it's been a very busy time generally, so we've had less time for gaming. We still played a good chunk of games.
Yeah, we always do.
Yeah, we have some things that helped.
Yeah.
I will say, I have planned, when I go to the UK, I'm taking the One Ring. We're going to play at least one session of that as like a one-shot with someone.
Well, at least those are books.
Yeah.
You throw 2 or 3 books in and some dice, you're good.
And I'll take like the starter set, so really it's just like pamphlets, and I can just slide them in somewhere.
Nice.
Well,
that'll be fun.
I expect to play a lot of Euros, which is fine.
You hate Euros, though.
Yeah.
It makes me... I laugh inside when I see you play a Euro.
I'm like trying to get my brother to get a hold of a copy of War for Arrakis or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so big, it takes up so much space in their car that they also can't.
It's a great game, though. It's a great game.
So, anyway.
Speaking of War for Arrakis.
Yeah.
The Desert War, I think it starts June 20th.
And that's Dune Imperium :
No. It's Dune, War for Arrakis, the Desert War.
Oh, is it a miniatures game?
It's that game right there's expansion.
Oh, it's an expansion for that?
Yes. It's called the Desert War.
Yes.
You get worm riders.
That's right.
And you get rocket launcher, Fremen.
Now I'm remembering that.
Yep. And then you get the environmental troops for the Harkonnen who go in, the red, blackish.
Yeah, they don't take storm damage, I think.
So they're in and then there's something else for them. They really need to beef up Atreides a little bit.
I'm pretty sure I signed up for the notifications for when that launches.
I think it's June 20th.
And I don't think it has yet.
So you'll get that next year.
Yeah.
Sometime. Great game, by the way.
Yeah, just fun. Just a fun game.
Oh, we've played that one 4 or 5 times. Love it.
So, speaking of May, the beginning of May, we went to Buckeye Game Fest, and that feels like an extremely long time ago.
It seems like a year ago.
Now, we talked about all of those games in the debrief for April, because we were talking about what we were going to play in May. Yeah, that's how dates work. Yeah. And then we also did a full debrief of those games.
Let's just pull some of them.
We're just going to kind of buzz through some of those that we played, kind of some of the highlights.
I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so we played Orange Shall Overcome from Liberation Game Design.
That's a really good game.
I know we talked about how I don't like Euros.
It's a very good game.
This might be one of my favorite games I've played this year. It's so good. The theme is just it's awesome.
It's so good because it is an extreme cooperative game. And what I mean by that is you cannot win that game unless your guys are working together.
And it's that game of efficiencies and tensions, but then there's so much difficulty with trying to cross where the police barricades are and stuff. Oh.
But it's good.
And
it's thematic.
Is so different.
Yep, so different.
It really, really, really
so
is.
Thematic, a cool historical event. Very well done. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
They knocked that out of the park, that's for sure.
They did.
That was great. We also played the Plum Island Horror with Herman Lutman.
Also a fun game.
That was awesome. Just fun.
Not a war game. Not a war game. Right. But there's fighting in it. There's a lot of combat in it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to turn these, right? So we played Burning Banners for the first time. It was great.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we need to do more of that. That's for sure.
I want to play that again, and I want to just do 2 players so that we can really dive into it. We played The Struggle for Zorn, The Red Blight from Herman Lutman and Blue Panther.
Fun game.
Very much enjoyed that. These are very similar, right? Not cooperative necessarily, but fantasy-style war games.
Yeah.
Very cool. Fire in the Lake, you taught Andy and Abyss.
Yep.
In our coin event there. That was a blast. I had a great time.
Always a good event.
Very much enjoyed it. We also played John Company 6-player.
Yep, we played max players, yep.
Had a blast. I mean, it's always fun. I'm just going to move those off the...
Yeah, we ran a Nations and Cannons event where you ran a table and I ran a table, so we were able to sit twice as many people as we did the previous year.
And these are the beautiful
that's what
extra
these nice
board maps.
So
cool.
Stunning. I'm really looking forward to the new supplementary material that's coming out because I think that's just going to help.
Well, it is Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition in a historical setting.
Yeah,
the Revolutionary War.
They've kind of reworked and reskinned it to sit in the Revolutionary War period, and it
works very well. It's fun. It's interesting, and we've now played it twice with groups, and we're going to do it next year. And I think everybody had a blast.
And I wouldn't be mad if this was something that continued and was almost a staple there because it's just fun.
Well, I'll do it every year, right?
You can do a lot with it. You can make it mundane. You can add magical elements if you want.
Yep.
You can kind of do anything in between, and it's just fun.
Well, and we've done some of the mystical fantasy stuff. We've encountered the Kraken. We also encountered a
Wendigo.
A Wendigo that was summoned by an evil British general. Isn't that synonymous, though? When I just say British general, isn't it just understood that it's evil?
At that time period, definitely.
Okay, definitely. But yeah, fun, just a blast. We also did a full game of Here I Stand.
Yeah, big old 6-player Here I Stand. Can't go wrong with Here I Stand.
I love that game.
If I've got the time, I will never turn it down. Basically.
Well, And the game we played, full 6-player, right? Yep. We finished it in about 5 hours, and it went 4 full turns.
It went 9, and we ended about 2.
Yeah, and the game ended at the end of turn 4 with a papal victory, which was insane.
I don't think I've ever seen a papal victory before.
Well, I didn't think it was going to happen.
I think that's one of the rarer occurrences in this game.
It was so cool, though.
It was really enjoyable. It was very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Here I Stand, to the point at which, because we played your copy, we were sat there talking about it that evening, and so I bought my own copy. And this is the really nice organized insert from Cube for me. They were very gracious to send me a copy of that in support of this channel, so check them out, because they're awesome.
Well, their kits are really good.
They just work really well.
Yeah, I have 4 or 5 of them, and there's definitely more that I would like to buy. By the way, do we have an update on the custom dice? I'm afraid to hear the answer.
We don't have an update currently. I was looking at certain avenues to get dice from a different place, but they needed like
5,000 dice.
They needed like 10 to 15,000 dice, and so that was unfeasible. But I've got to
still working on it.
Keep working on that. But again, once that comes a bit more to fruition, I can kind of put something out there and gauge a bit more response, because enough people have interest where I think we could make it reasonable.
Yeah, but Buckeye Game Fest was a blast. Was that our 4th time there?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 19, or I'm sorry.
We did 18,
19.
20 was no go.
And 21 we didn't go. 22 and 23, that was our 5th time.
Was that our 5th time?
Yeah.
Or did we only do the 1? We didn't do 2018.
Maybe we only did 19.
Just do 19, and
maybe.
It was 21, 22, 23.
There you go. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Well, this is 24.
Yeah. I don't think we did 20 or 21. I don't think the world was back to normal
21, there wasn't a 21? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Either way, Buckeye Game Fest
had a blast.
Really, really good.
Loved going. We'll always go.
Yes.
So what else did we play solo? Or even together?
So solo, I played Tally Ho from
Tally Ho!
Historic Wings.
You got to say it like that. That's lame.
Pip Pip Tally Ho.
Pip Tally Ho!
So this is one of those book games, and it's from Thomas Van Hare, and you can play it in the books with the printed maps like this, and it has all the counters in the back that you like cut out and you push around. But Blue Panther has a kind of printed deluxe version of all the components, including like any cards if they exist.
Like I got Overflight.
Did you play Overflight?
I have not. I'm going to play it this month.
Okay. But yeah, if you go to Blue Panther, you'll see this box, and it has all the counters printed in the Blue Panther way.
Very nice.
Cards, play aids,
Did you get that for Tally Ho?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's set up so I don't have the box with me.
Okay.
So this is just the book game. So you're going to buy this on Amazon for like 20,
30
bucks.
30 bucks, I think.
You can play just this. If you want to spend the extra money, you can get the deluxe components, but you can't just buy that.
Yeah.
You have to have the rules.
Yeah, just buying this is not going to get you anywhere.
So I played this. I played a couple scenarios in it.
And it seems like you were enjoying it. I followed some of your tweets.
It was, and I think what I'm really liking, like, it's fun, it's difficult, but it's, a little solitaire game. It's enjoyable. It's not particularly serious.
Got it.
Right? It's not like super duper intense. Like it's supposed to be a playable, fun game.
Sure.
But I look at something like Overflight, and I have SOE Lysander as well, and they just look so different.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm really interested is to play SOE Lysander, and just to see that he has not just kind of cut and pasted themes onto these different games. Mm-hmm. He's really designed games from the ground up very differently, and I think that is a huge credit to what he's got going on here.
Well, and I know that,
enjoyable.
And it's Thomas Van Hare, right?
Yes.
I'm working on an interview with him for Octung Jabo.
Which that'll be his fifth one
fifth
in the
game.
series, I think.
I'm very much looking forward to that one, so we would like to probably get that one and try to play it as well. But
yeah,
they all look very unique. They all look very different. They all cover different aspects of World War II, the Cold War. They just look really cool.
So this one's like a hex encounter game, and there's like, you roll dice for directions, and there's some programmed movement points that you're
So it's almost air combat tactical style game.
And the Germans are controlled by the AI. They're flying in, trying to go and bomb targets, basically. And then you have your squadrons that you're trying to launch and get up in the air, and you have a communication role, and the communication role effectively says, you can mostly move, or like you totally are out of communication. You just sit there and don't do anything.
Okay.
And so,
like that single plane unit.
Yeah, like you roll for each one, and then you have to then fly. You get into combat, and then you're going to roll some combat stuff and see what happens.
Nice.
But you're also tracking fuel and ammo. So, like, if you use up all your ammo, you got to go home. No choice. Right. And so you
can't fight unless you can shoot.
If you shoot all your guns and you don't destroy the Germans, you're like, oh no, not good. And so I've seen, like, I got crushed by the Germans in the first one. They won a lot of victory points. And in the second one I played, I kind of dominated them. Because I had some good rolls, and they had consistently very bad ones. But it is fun little solitaire game.
Yeah, so Solitaire that I played, I'll just cover these, and then maybe we need to get... Yeah. Well, that was the only game we actually played together, which was funny, other than Buckeye Game Fest. So Mike Lambo is also a Solitaire book game designer. He's also a Brit, right? Very cool guy. I did an interview with him, but I played the crap out of Lonesherm in the Pacific. Just a very fun... It's a single tank, so you are a single tank in the overall invasion of different... like Saipan and Tarawa are focused on in this game. But you're like the single wing of the invasion, and you're in a lone tank, and you're fighting for objectives. And it's just very well done. The AI controls the Japanese. Very simple, very easy, and they play fairly quickly. It's dice activation, so you roll dice, and you're looking for numbers to do certain actions. But it's just real fun. So I've enjoyed that a lot.
And this one you did... just kind of print it on some card stock and cut them out.
So I actually got some thicker card stock and just printed them out and then trimmed them out. They are not perfect, but they work. They're thick enough. You can use the page in the back of the book, but that's going to be real flimsy.
Yeah.
These have some girth to them, and they just work better. So I got to put that back in or I'm going to lose it. So that was that. I played that. I played Comet. I want to give this some more time. I'm not sure that I got all the rules right, but this is not necessarily a traditional war game. It is the Comet line in World War II where you're trying to get out downed Allied airmen from France, Belgium and France and Spain, and get them back to England. They get shot down. Very unique aspects. There's some chit draw. You're planning your routes. You're using cards to get certain leaders or guides who will get these guys through, and it's fun. It's unique. It can snowball really quick, and you can get your butt. And I've had that happen to me a lot. But that's from Hollandspiel. And then finally, I played about 5 games of Manila, the Savage Streets, from Revolution Take Aim Designs. Revolution Games Take Aim Designs. This is designed by Mike Ranella, so it's one of those area impulse activation. But this is a solitaire war game. Very cool. I've not played a lot of games on Manila, so this was fun to play.
And this is the solo area move series, right? So there was that Stalingrad one last year.
So this is very similar to Stalingrad. They have added a little bit more activity from the AI itself. When certain events come up, they can do counterattacks. In the other one, it didn't really. They were more static. Kind of a thing. Yeah. Okay. So I feel like this one's kind of an evolution of that system, and it works really well. I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
So you had alluded to, for our Shelf of Shame dust-off event that we're doing.
We're making good progress on that. 5 out of 6 games we've played.
So if you haven't been paying attention, the Shelf of Shame dust-off is our attempt to play 1 game a month from kind of our Shelf of Shame, right? So we've got some of these, famous or classic or just popular games, or games that we really want to play. They've just been sat on the shelf for a long time that's like, okay, I'd love to play this, but like, we also have that Cult of the New thing going on.
Yeah.
And so...
But this was a conscious effort this year to pick a dozen games and play them. They're older games, so it's been fun. So really enjoyed it.
Our title for May was Brazen Chariots, which is a BCS game.
So good.
And this is published by Multiman Publishing. This particular one's designed by Jim Daniels. So there is a full video review of this coming later on.
Didn't we also do like a raw footage on this one?
So there's a lot more to come from this game. Suffice to say, it's excellent, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, the BCS system is quickly becoming one of my favorite systems.
Yes, without question.
Because it's so unique and interesting, and it's just fun to play. I feel like it's a very crunchy war game, focused, operational scale. But it's just fun and interesting and unique. It's just different than what we've played before.
To the point at which, I've got Valley of Tears on the shelf. I would consider, setting that whole thing up at a convention and doing, team play.
Sure.
And, because that way it's going to move a bit faster.
Quicker.
And that would be incredible.
Sure.
That's how much I like this system. Mm-hmm. Not every game system I want to do that.
Sure.
And this is one of those systems where it's just
there's a couple things that I really enjoy about the system. The way supply works, because supply determines your level of activation, and it is all based on a whole bunch of factors. Your exhaustion level, your distance between you and your, what do they call them, baggage train?
Your combat train.
Combat train. The terrain you're going over, whether you're crossing the streams. I just really enjoy how that works, so I like that. But I also like that each of the editions have been very different. They have felt different scale-wise. While they're all operational games, this one felt much bigger than the one we played, the Kazarine Pass one. Baptism by Fire.
That one was very narrow.
More focused.
This one was very
huge.
broad.
We were fighting in Tobruk, and we were also fighting way over in
the Halfia Pass.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great. And it's just a good system.
And I think this one's kind of hard to get a hold of, which is a bummer.
I think they're all sold
really,
out,
really good.
frankly.
But again, I've got that Cube for Me tray set in here, which helps to keep it organized. We've got some card organizers for the formations, but there's information on the videos coming up.
Those sleds were pretty nice.
This is a really, really, really good game.
Yep.
The system is amazing.
I was sad when we had to pack it away. I just wanted to keep playing it.
Yes, agreed.
Because it was that good. Now, I will say this. We have become such devotees of the BCS system and SCS.
Yeah.
And 40X. I mean, there's many systems that we like, but we hunted down a copy of the last Blitzkrieg.
Yes.
Right?
It's BCS Last Blitzkrieg, Wachstamrein, 1944.
It's Battle of the Bulge game, right? And we tracked a copy down. I didn't think it was that bad. Brand new, that game was $160. Brand spanking new. So I think this one we paid $190 for a slightly used copy, and then about $20 in shipping.
Yeah.
We haven't got it yet, but it's coming.
It's probably going to arrive tomorrow or the next day.
Sure. Well, that's one I want to clip and get ready to go because I've really enjoyed it.
BCS
really enjoyed that system.
I think outside of things like Rally the Troops and stuff, I think that's everything we played. So things like Rally the Troops, I've got games of Wilderness War going on, Votes for Women. I'm playing games of Plantagenet at the moment, which is relatively new on there. I've played 3 to completion. They were shorter ones.
Got it.
And it was kind of hey, we're just learning, and some of it was catastrophic. But I'm in some longer campaigns, and I've learned a lot where the games that I'm starting now, I feel like I'm much more confident in what on earth should I be doing in them?
Sure.
So I'm really enjoying that. Andy and Abyss is on there.
We love Time of Crisis. We love
I think I'm close to. I played my 100th game of that last month.
Time of Crisis.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
I need to go back and track. I don't know that I've counted up.
I have. As soon as I started doing that, I was like, okay, this is going to escalate, and I think it would be interesting to keep track.
Yeah.
I'm close to 150 games of Andy and Abyss.
Yeah, I'm probably half of that, but I'm in 8 right now.
Yeah.
I've recently started trying to win more as the government. I always have trouble as the government because I think they have the harder time of it. That's my opinion.
Yes.
because they've got to get into a couple areas in the middle, and it can just be really, really challenging.
Well, it takes time.
Yep.
They need time.
Yep.
Them and the cartels.
Yep.
And the problem is that everyone mistreats the government.
Everybody hacks on you.
It looks like they're an easy target, and it's like, if you dog the government,
they won't be
FARC
able to,
will win.
Yep, because they can't keep them in check.
And you're like, just don't do that.
Yeah. I actually sent a message to a guy. I'm like, you have literally obliterated me like 3 times. And, oh, by the way, FARC just added like 3 new bases last time. I was trying to get over there and stop that from happening. And he was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, I'm not going to win until like turn, I'm going to win in the 4th propaganda round.
Realistically, yeah.
So it's like, dude, lay off me, go after FARC and...
if you limb up the government to death, they can't fight the cartels with those eradications. And so then the cartels will escalate and they become an unstoppable force.
Eradication, though, is very hard to use, only because it adds opposition.
It can do, but hopefully your whack-a-mole is going strong enough where you can do it.
It's tricky. The reason I brought that up is I've been voluntarily choosing the government more often recently, just to I want to get it down.
Yeah.
And I've been enjoying it. I'm getting close. I'm getting close in a couple of games. But
I love it.
I do. I love the government. My favorite faction, I think, to play, and you're not going to believe it, but I really like the cartels.
Oh no, yeah, cartels are great fun.
They're just fun because they kind of do a little bit of everything, but they just consistently build base after base after base after base after base.
Their power just goes like this throughout the course of the game.
And by the end, you're like, oh, you can't really do anything about it.
No one can touch you. And that feels...
very good.
Whilst in reality, that's kind of gross.
Sure.
Doing it in the game, it's like,
oh yeah. Well, and I also love putting... I really like to put a guerrilla here and there just to keep everybody honest.
You have to. It's kind of your job.
But I just love to do that, and I just love to go, oh, I'm going to do a terror this round. Pop, pop, pop. And I'm like, how'd that feel? FARC.
Yeah.
You jerks.
And I also like cartels because they have to play quite defensively at times.
They do.
Because they have some extremely punishing events that can be played against them.
You mean when their money's drained?
Yeah, when the money's drained, or it's like... what's it called? It's like the cartels war or the faction war where you remove all cartels guerrillas but one, and every single one of them like does a terror or something stupid like that, and it's like,
it's
because then you just get wiped off.
Well, then you got to start over again. Yeah, and I've had that happen to me so many times.
But you have to, and removing all the coastal units and you have to play a little bit defensively with them at times, which is not a lot of other factions do that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Anyway, well, Wilderness War is another one that's always fun on there. Yeah, I've got a couple of those games going.
Love that. I think my copy of Wilderness War, this is the theme today apparently. We happen to have all the games out. I have the sweet Cube for Me trays in here for those as well. Those guys are awesome. They're really nice organizers that are really tight. But they just put they put Friedrich onto Rally the Troops.
I still haven't played it.
I'm in one learning game and I'm pretty sure it's going catastrophically. Like I've been in 4 or 5 combats and I've been obliterated all but one time. Like I just cannot get the card draws.
So quick question, because visually it looks very similar to another game that we've played recently from CSL, The Great Northern War. How comparable is it? Obviously not a trick-taking game, but it does use cards and cards with suits, correct?
Yes.
Is it any similar at all?
Not really. No, not really, no.
Visually, it looks like it because it uses the cylinders and they stack, units and leaders.
Yeah, and there's an element to that, right? You have leaders with units and they're moving around on the point to point, and you also have supply trains, which is neat. But then the combat, it's like, here's my value, here's your value, and then we have some cards.
Okay.
But the cards have to align with the territory, I believe.
Okay.
And I keep ending.
That's kind of unique.
I get myself into combats,
and you don't have cards.
I've got lots of units, but I don't have the cards for them.
Got it.
And the guy will have like no units. He's like, I play a 13 diamond or whatever, and you're like,
Got it.
And so then it's like everyone dies, and it's like, yeah.
Well, I want to play that. So maybe when you get comfortable, maybe we could get in a learning game together.
Yeah, because you have that, right?
I own the game. I own it and Maria.
Yeah.
And I've lugged it around a couple times. We've just never got around to playing it.
Yeah, it's...
There's just too many games.
That's true. That's true. But yeah,
anyway,
I'm enjoying that.
Rally the Troops is so fun.
It's really, really good. I also started...
And I bowed out.
Yeah, this was a bit of an interesting one. So I started a game of Machiavelli. So this is an old Avalon Hill game designed by someone. It's funny.
That's hilarious.
It just doesn't say. It probably says in the rulebook. So this is Renaissance Italy and the surrounding areas in the diplomacy system. A friend of the show, Ed, he was like, hey, can we get a play-by post or like a play-by-mail game this going? So he created like a Google form to submit orders, and we've got 8 players playing this. We've just finished the first year.
Is it on Vassal?
Turns. So we're playing it on our Slack channel for the patrons, where we're like discussing and have that. But he has a Vassal module for it, where... Because everyone submits their written orders, and then he just implements them.
Okay.
Because the way that game works is there's no like fudging. It's just whatever happens. He's not he is not cheating.
Got it.
And so then he'll just post a picture of what does the game look like now. And so then we have another week of everyone DMing each other and arguing about what to do, and then everyone submits new orders.
Got it.
And then they get executed. So we've done a full year of it. It's very, very cool. It's very interesting. I've never played diplomacy, and so this is my first time with that style where it's like, oh man, you have to get people on board because there's no game otherwise, you'll just die.
Why does it not say the designer's name anywhere? That's crazy.
It's old Avalon Hill, who knows?
But that's a shame.
I'm sure it says it in the rulebook, but...
Is this an actual statue somewhere?
I imagine that it is.
My goodness, that is scary.
So
terrifying.
I bought this from Noble Knight so that I could set it up, and I'm going to kind of take pictures and do like a running blog of this, potentially.
Sure.
Because I think that might
of
be
the game you've got going on?
Yeah. So, like, a week in arrears, I'll be like, hey, this is what happened, and stuff like that.
People would love that crap.
So I'm really enjoying it. That's going to go on for like the next, how many months probably. So that's something. Oh, and also in May, for work, I went up to Minneapolis and I played Crisis 1914 with Jeff. And
Jeff Dreher,
Jeff Dreher, yeah. So this is it's.
We still don't have a copy of that game, by the way.
Oh, we don't?
They said they were sending us one.
No. So
I want to play that.
It's from Worthington, and it's a 2 to 5 player political...
It uses cards.
Card game.
That tells the story of the build-up to World War I.
So it's really interesting.
In 1914.
I would never seriously play it 2-player.
Okay. Maybe we would just to get a feel for it. No?
Sure.
Okay.
It's not...
Not made for that?
No. It's very clearly designed for 4 to 5 people.
Got it.
I've already got that lined up for my next trip up there.
Oh, nice.
Because Mike Zillablitz couldn't make it because he's busy.
Oh, is he up there too?
He's up there too.
Nice.
And then I got 2 other people who were like, yes, we'll be there. So I should get a 5-player game of that in June, which is exciting.
Oh, you're going back up in June?
Yes.
This month?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I fly in late on the Monday, and so then I'm like, let's just meet in the game center.
Nice.
It should only take a couple hours to play. It was, and I think at 5 players, I think it's going to be amazing. Because we could see what was good and what was going to be cool about it, but you have to have those other players because of the kind of push your luck kind of game and the pressures.
So the game is about escalation, and somebody's escalating it, and you don't want it to escalate to get to war. Whoever pushes it over the top, I think, ends up losing the game.
And then you whoever's got the prestige at the end, because it's I didn't cause the war, but I was the strongest of the people who didn't, which I think is a really neat.
You're the least to blame.
No, you're the second least to blame. But
Interesting.
It was.
It looks good.
It was really good, but at 2 players, it's kind of flat because you don't.
Yeah.
You need all that other interaction from everyone.
Well,
and I'm looking forward.
You know, it's interesting because I did a full interview with Maurice Suckling, the designer, and you read those interviews. Sometimes they connect and you get it. Sometimes it's very hard to visualize what the game is.
Yes.
Right. Then he even did a series of articles for me for the blog on the cards themselves, that mainly focused on the historical connection of the different players, but also he would sometimes throw in little game mechanics, and it looks really fascinating.
Yes,
but it's probably a game that's going to be better at 4 to 5 players than one or two,
without question. And I think with those 4 or 5 players, I think it's going to be
pretty good.
I have extremely high hopes for it.
Well, maybe that's one we can take to like San Diego Historicon.
Yes. Yeah, or
get a big
if Maurice
5-player.
is there, someone's going to have it. We'll definitely do that.
Big 5-player game of that.
Because it doesn't take very long either.
Like an hour?
I think it might be 2.
Okay.
If you've got all those.
5 players.
It could end earlier though. But
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have very high expectations for that game. So that was everything in May. I was a little bit going into June as well. So in June, I'm going to play Crisis 1914. Great. We're also going to try to get to Rebel Fury. Do you have a particular battle in here that you want to try?
Let me look at it, but I think they're all small battles with less counters, right?
Yeah, but I don't. Do you have? Because we've played we've played a Chancellorsville game before. Do you
sure.
want to do a different one?
I mean, I would love to try. The Wilderness looked pretty cool, but I think each and every one of them are different. So Chattanooga looks pretty. I mean, they all look. Fredericksburg looks pretty interesting. Chancellorsville, but yeah, I mean, and the reality is, I think they play in. I'm trying to remember how long.
Because the original, because this is bred from that Gettysburg that was in C3I.
So you're talking about an hour to an hour.
That was
15.
like 30 minutes. I think these are slightly
bit more
beefier than those.
But I definitely want to play this one. Mark, I promise you we will play it. I think he's worried. But I'm very much, I mean, I know you love the American Civil War. You become a devotee. There's a huge shelf over here that's starting to get weighed down with great battles of the American Civil War, right?
Great campaigns.
Great campaigns of the American, sorry. There's so many of those out there.
Also,
but
I had just heard about this, and I think I had maybe heard about it apparently someone is working on like a simple GBACW system.
Oh, nice.
Which if they did that...
Kind of like a simple GBOH.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm like, if that exists...
Yeah. We'll dive into that.
I might have like a real problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's one of the things that's keeping me away from those as much is that they are very long and they are very complex.
Crunchy, yeah.
But, they were playing that Dead of Winter game at Buckeye Game Fest.
They were.
And it looked awesome.
Oh, it did look awesome.
But also
yeah, there's a lot.
Very slow.
Lot to it. Yeah.
And a simple version of that's quick and playable. Ooh.
Yeah. The good thing about this system, not only is it less counter density, I think simpler rules, a little bit more about the maneuver and the movement. This is volume 1 in this Civil War Heritage series. So GMT already announced the second game in the series, Army of the Potomac. Sorry, I've got the hiccups now.
That'll be awesome. Will that have like Malvern Hill and...
I can't remember the games that are... I can't remember the games that are included in it.
But because this has...
Well, it has 6 battles.
This has 6 in it, right?
And each of the maps can do 2 battles on them, I think.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah. But it's like Fredericksburg, Chancellorsville, Chickamauga, Chattanooga, the Wilderness, and Spotsylvania. So... looks awesome.
Yeah.
Rebel Fury. So that's one we're going to play, definitely.
And then we're also going to play, is it A Jest of Robin Hood?
I think it's a guest. I looked it up online and did the pronunciation. It's a guest of Robin Hood.
Whatever that means, it's a Robin Hood game. This is from the Irregular Conflict series. This is volume 2.
Yep.
Volume 1 was Vijayanagara, which is
excellent.
Also excellent.
I've heard a lot of good things about this.
You
see people playing it, and they're like, ooh, that's really good.
So this is one of those kind of coin-adjacent games, and people have been saying to me, oh, this would be a good introduction to coin. And sure, a part of me is like, cool, it is quite different now.
I mean, I think it uses some of the mechanics, but it's different,
At
right?
which point, like...
Or it would have just been the coin series.
You kind of just got to learn coin.
Sure.
So I don't know how I feel about that yet, but we'll play this and hopefully make a bit more of an informed decision. The artwork in this is...
It's phenomenal.
Incredible.
Yep. I'm very excited about it.
It's a smaller box.
Yep.
I think it's even smaller than Rebel Fury, right? No, same size.
About the same size, yeah.
But like the other coin games with those big bulky ones, I think this is just a bit more palatable to people. It's that Robin Hood theme. It's great. So I'm very excited for this one.
One side's the sheriff, the other side is Robin Hood and his merry men, and it's about robbing coaches and getting coaches and controlling areas.
And trying to smoke out the bandits and get them.
And using cards, so, but it's beautiful.
I'm looking forward. They've done a really good job. I hope this does really well and encourages them to do more kind of different things like this that have broader appeal. Because the more people that go to the GMT Games website, the more they'll be tricked into buying war games.
Sure.
The more the hobby will have new people in it.
Yes, and that's what we want.
Next up, we're going to try and get Striking Flint, which is a cooperative game. So you can play it solo, or it can play up to 5-player co-op from Hollandspiel. And this is, so it's designed by John Dubois.
Same guy that did
Heading
Forward.
Yeah.
Another solo game.
And that one's pure solitaire. So this is a game that is recreating or simulating the various strikes and sit-ins at different manufacturing plants.
It's 1932, the UAW strike.
1937.
37, the UAW. So United Auto Workers against GM.
Okay.
But it's cool because it's not an it's not a worker placement style game.
Oh, it's got meeples.
But it's a worker displacement style of game. So you're literally putting one of your workers in an area that the GM
that blocks
them from doing bad stuff. Obviously, you can't do everything, but you've got to. And it uses dice.
It has rats. Tokens.
It looks really cool. We were going to try to play it tonight after we do the debrief, but it's starting to get late. But definitely a game that I want to play. It plays in like 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think I'm always curious about the kind of co-op or solo games that Hollandspiel puts out, because those are something that, this is something very different.
I love cooperative games. I really do.
But it might be worker placement or displacement, but it's that kind of conflict in a different way.
Yep.
And so you get something a little bit different out of it. So I am very interested in that
8-page rule book.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, right.
But
we were looking at the rules earlier.
4 double-sided pages, one of which is a front cover with a contents page. So really, that's a very generous. It's 6 pages of actual rules.
Yeah. I hope we can play it tonight, but we'll get it sometime.
So we also are going to play Beware the Ides of March, also from Hollandspiel.
I feel like this is a Hollandspiel month.
This particular one designed by John Thiessen. So this is The Liberator's Civil War. After Brutus and all of his compatriots murdered Caesar and left him on the floor of the Senate bleeding, and then
30 sometimes he was stabbed.
And then he and his compatriots went out expecting rapturous applause. There was deathly silence.
Yeah.
Everyone turned on them. So this is a conflict simulation game. So it's Hex Encounter, Mediterranean. It's supposed to be this kind of big operational game. It's where you have basically Cassius and Brutus leading armies against Octavian and
Antony.
So that's the crux of this. It's a war game. It's conflict, and you are there with stacks of guys trying to fight each other.
It's got some interesting things to it, but our experience was not as good as we wanted it to be.
No, I had very high expectations. It wasn't quite where it wanted to be. There's a full review of this coming out. If you're interested in this, that's worth a watch. I'll try and get that out sooner rather than later.
I'm glad we played it. I just think my expectations were a little higher.
Yeah, there was some disconnect between some of the mechanics of the game, which was unfortunate because the combat is pretty fun.
Yeah, the combat was really good. And then we already played this one too.
Yes, we played this
June the 6th.
On June the 6th, so just over a week ago, for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Sorry, it's actually still set up underneath here.
Yeah.
I took those pictures.
I did. I saw. Good. I was going to do just.
I want to make sure that those were appropriate so that I can put it away.
I haven't looked at them yet, but let me look at them. Yep.
But so this is part of the 40X series. This again was part of that Shelf of Shame dust-off.
Yep.
That we're going to play. You get it, right? So this is from Mark Simonich, GMT Games. This is the 2021 third printing.
Yep. Look at that tiny box, too.
It's just, but like everything fits in there.
Yeah, it's amazing. I like more war games like this because sometimes they're just gratuitously big.
I like
if
war
that makes
games
sense.
like this. Yeah, when it makes sense, and like this is a really classic war game.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big game in here.
Oh, it's huge.
And there's so much meat. One map.
Yeah.
One counter tray.
Yep.
2 dice. 2 play aids and a rule book.
The complexity and the largeness is in the play.
Yeah, there's a couple of counter sleds. It needed a second play aid.
Agreed.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love a game that can fit in the box like this that still packs a punch. You know what else did that? I think the Dark Summer is also in a small box.
Yes, it is.
Which is ironic because it's a very similar topic. I think it might be set somewhere. It's down here.
Yeah, it's the same size.
I just think it's funny that both of those
big games that are in small boxes.
This is, so Shelf of Shame Dust-Off, we've done 6 months, and we only missed 1 of them.
Yeah, we've done 5 out of 6 games that we planned to.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. Now, I will say this. This was one that we had planned for July. But we did it in June in place of Day of Days, which is the huge
SCS game.
SCS, Multi-Man Publishing. We will do that one in July.
Yeah, so Day of Days got bumped to July
because we just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, because that's
this
much
is a
bigger.
and
you had it. I have this in my house. I could set it up on a Thursday night so we could play it that
Yeah,
day.
we did it on it. It was a Thursday night. I showed up at about 4 o'clock and left at about 11. We did about, how many turns did we do? 5?
So we played the 7-turn mini campaign.
I think we got through 5 turns.
So the 7 on, yeah.
So, and it was 11 and I had to go because I had to go to work.
But this is all, this is one of those games that you can play and play and play and revisit and revisit.
Oh, no doubt.
It's really good.
And it's interesting because I thought the victory conditions were very interesting for the Allies. One of those very interesting elements was controlling that road along the beaches.
Yeah.
And that was hard. I mean, I think we got to the beginning of the 5th turn. But there were still 2 pockets holding out.
Like I think the timing of that game is really good.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of pressure. Like they've written the victory conditions really well, especially for the scenarios where it's not super easy.
No, it's not.
You have to be proactive and go and do things to make it work, and there is really good chances for the Germans to hold out,
no doubt,
mess this up, because it's not an that was 3 VPs.
Yeah.
Now I need to accrue quite a lot of VPs.
15 or something like that, I think was your condition.
It was 14 or 15.
And I think you ended up with 7. We thought 7 or maybe 8.
Yeah, and we had a couple of turns to go, but it's like there was on a knife edge.
It could have
gone either way.
It could have gone either way.
And I really, really, really liked that game was able to do that. I think that's part of the reason it's been around so long.
Sure.
And why it has so much staying power.
Well, and the system, it just works. It's a low counter density system. It uses the Zoc bonds, and it just makes a big game a lot more playable because of that. And I mean, I've loved every one of those 40X series games that we've played.
So yeah, I might play some. I'll probably play some more Tally Ho. I might play.
Yeah, I've got a couple of that.
SOE Lysander, but the reality is that's probably all the solo gaming.
I'm going to do Overflight from Thomas Van Hare. I also got Battles of Kursk. It's a Mike Lambo game. It's the next one that just came out.
Is it?
So this is more
that
troops.
Quite different.
Yeah, this is Kursk.
You have lots of guys.
Yep. So you do have tanks, but you also have MG teams, and you're controlling the Soviets.
But that looks quite different from being one tank driving around. This is
it's a little bit bigger, but I've got it all clipped and ready to go. I also printed out the counters.
I'll be curious to see how different that is.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I also downloaded my print and play version of Until the Bitter End Tanks Eastern Front. This is put together by Matt White. This costs $10.
Yeah.
And it's print and play. So I bought a pack of really thick kind of cardstock, and I printed all the counters. Look at those gorgeous counters. I mean, look at how amazing those are. You got a little turn track. These are the map tiles, and they've cut out and I've marked them on the back, and then here's the rules. Not overly complex. It's a solo game. It can be played 2-player, but I'm very much looking. These are the 3 that I'm going to hit this month, or try to. So there we go.
Yeah, the Rally the Troops stuff will continue. I got to play Crisis. I don't know if I have any other like gaming planned. So I think that's everything that.
Well, the only other thing we played is on Memorial Day.
Oh,
we played 2 very fun games.
Yeah.
One not so fun for me.
Yeah. So
you guys enjoyed it.
So we played. That first game was called.
I don't remember the name of it. It was a card game.
It was called Pass?
No.
Joke? Snap?
No.
Spot?
No. Something like that, but no.
It was a 1-syllable word.
Yeah.
And it was okay.
I didn't like it because I felt like it was too random. The cards drawn to you, when the cards were dealt to you, you had to play them in the order. You could flip them over one time, but that's the way you had to play your hand.
Yeah, it's like a hand management card game. Like,
yeah,
it was fine.
Not my favorite.
But
the next game we played
The Crew afterwards.
Amazing.
Which was really fun. So,
also a card game, but a trick-taking card game that's cooperative.
Yes.
And it's scenario-based. So you're a space crew trying to do different missions, and you're working together without talking.
Yeah.
You really are not supposed to say a whole lot. I think we said way more than we were supposed to.
Well, I think we were very new and we were
trying to learn the game.
Blundering through some of the rules and was like, oh, sorry, we're super well allowed to do that kind of a thing.
But the way you are supposed to communicate is with a card.
With one token and one card from your hand.
And you put that down, and if you put it on top, it means this is the only card of this color that I have.
Or this is the highest
card.
Lowest.
Yep. And it's very unique and interesting because once again, you're trying to take tricks in an order.
Yeah, like
and working together.
And that sounds dumb, but it's like
it was very cool.
You have to win the trick that contains the blue 4 in it.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, that's easy.
It's
not as easy as it sounds because you might have the instructions of like, cool, you have to do that, but you're not allowed to do that until you've won the trick with the green 9 in it.
Yeah.
And then this guy's also trying to win the one with the green 2 in it. You're like, okay, we have to make all of those things go. And so you're working through processes of elimination and working through it was so we played a lot of that.
Well, we played I think 6 or 7 missions for about 4 hours. And finally, I had to say, I got to go, because it was like 6 o'clock.
I could have played it all night.
Did you stay any longer and play any more?
No, we all kind of broke it. But so I told my family, because they...
Oh, it's a great game.
They have the other one, because then Brandon talked about the underwater version of it.
Yes, they have that one.
They have that. I was like, okay. I played The Crew, it's amazing.
And that was called The Crew.
I was like, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Not a war game.
I know, we like to joke about like 5 Crowns and Uno and
it was really fun.
But some of those card games in the right stuff was really fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that was good.
Had a blast. So that was all the gaming we did. We did a ton.
Yeah, it ended up being a lot.
We ended up playing a ton of games.
Like really, we played Buckeye Game Fest, and then we did Brazen Chariots, but we did a lot of ancillary stuff.
Yeah.
And June is shaping up to be pretty good, honestly. Like we've already played a couple of those games.
Yeah, we've already played 2 games.
A couple of them were bangers.
And then we've got 3 more games lined up, and I think we'll get all 3 of those played.
Yeah,
I really do.
And then and I've got bits and pieces planned. I'm really enjoying Machiavelli.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more into Plantagenet and Friedrich, and I'm thinking, we've got some good stuff on the horizon.
All right, Kickstarter. Do we want to talk about Kickstarters at all?
Yes, let's have a quick chat about Kickstarter.
Well, there's a bunch of them. Let me go ahead and pull up my Wargame Watch if you haven't followed that one. Hunt for Blackbeard from Fort Circle Games. This is designed by Volko Runke. It is a hidden movement. One side is Blackbeard, the other side is the British provisional government trying to capture him. Very cool looking from Fort Circle Games. Running out of time on that one, though. The next Kickstarter is also pretty good. Operation Barkley from
that looks awesome.
Salt and Pepper Games. So that is the information and disinformation campaign of the Abwehr versus, what was the British? Not MI6, but...
No, it was the executive branch.
There you go. In the Mediterranean theater about the invasion. right?
Specifically the invasion of
Italy.
Italy.
Yep. After North Africa.
And that's by the same artist as The Hunt, right?
Yes, I think so. No.
It's not?
It is different.
Oh, okay.
But it also looks very good.
I thought it was because it looks...
No, it's not Albert Montes. It's a different guy.
Okay.
And
whatever it is,
looks really good.
good
Yeah, it looks really good. Nuclear Destruction, a nuclear war card game from Mr. B Games, is currently on Kickstarter. Yep. It's almost out. That's one of those nostalgic games. I don't know much about it, but people really...
No, I think, yeah.
And it's done like 50 or 60,000, so it's gone pretty well. The other Kickstarter is Flanks of Gettysburg. It's over, though, now. But you might still be able to late back it. And then Mustang Leader, which I also think is over. We're doing these later in the month.
Yeah, well, this one's unfortunate, so yeah.
But,
sometimes.
So yeah, and I'm telling you, their 1 Hour World War II is ending soon from Worthington. That also looks very good. There's some other ones that coming up that look pretty interesting. That Desert War for Arrakis is one we'll get. But cool stuff.
Yeah, there's always stuff to be going on there. Oh, yeah. And I think they're getting really close to fulfilling Purple Haze.
Oh, yes, they are.
So if you backed that, we're real close to that.
Yeah.
And that game looks
From Phalanx.
incredible. Like, we played a prototype of that, a pre-production version, like...
It was a blast.
It feels like it was 2 years ago, yeah.
It was 3 years ago, almost.
And it was so good. I know they made some changes to it, but now once it's finally hitting, I could not be more excited to play, because it was so good what we were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think that's everything on Kickstarter. What we'll do is we'll have an official word from our sponsor, Noble Knight Games. So thanks, Noble Knight, for the sponsorship. We really appreciate that. They're good people up there. They provide
they are.
Very, very good service.
In Wisconsin.
Yes, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I think, in the most stereotypical possible way, my favorite thing about us going there was eating those cheese curds.
Oh my gosh.
We went
so squeaky.
I know, it's so corny.
So good.
Just around the corner from Noble Knight Games, it was like a brewery bar place, but they had cheese curds.
They're so good.
With that habanero ranch.
Yep, that jalapeno habanero.
I mean...
So good.
So good.
It was amazing.
But yeah.
We also had an amazing breakfast at another place nearby there.
Oh my gosh.
That bacon was
that.
incredible.
What was that place called?
I don't remember. Literally down the street from Noble Knight Games, though.
Yeah, it was like...
It was so good.
We had driven past it on the way to the hotel.
And we're like, that's where we're going
for breakfast.
Yeah.
I mean, the bacon was basically pork chops.
That is crazy. It was very good.
But
I will say this about Noble Knight Games. We have bought a lot of their games over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I think you just bought something new. What did you buy? You just ordered something from them. Some Napoleon game.
Oh, no. Okay.
What was that?
That wasn't from them.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay, I'm sorry. Strike that.
So, I have Fallen Eagles 2 from Hexagon.
Yeah.
And there was a guy on Consim who was selling another couple from that series.
Okay.
For like $60. I was like,
oh, got it, yeah.
But I did buy from them, I bought Hood Strikes North, which is a GCACW game. And then I also bought Stonewall's Last Battle, which is also a GCACW game. That one it's down on the bottom shelf because it's the old Avalon Hill ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not quite. It's still nice, but it's not.
So all of these are twos, it looks like, right?
Yeah, so those are all the MMP ones.
Yep.
The other one, it's down on top of Reichbusters. It's like you can.
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah.
But I bought that from them. I think we.
Okay, it's time to stop for a moment. Just for a moment.
Well, yeah. So
give it a month.
What I'm gonna say to you is that there's only two that I don't have that I like want.
Okay.
And those are the ones that are like incredibly difficult to get a hold of. But it's also those things that like they might have like the one copy of it at WBC.
Oh, got it. Sure, yeah.
So if you do go there,
well, make sure I have the list and I'll look.
Yeah. Because it's like one of them's roads to Gettysburg too, and it's like $500. And it's like,
got it. Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
It's
for another game that's probably going to sit on the shelf for a long, long time.
Yeah, but Noble Knight they just have so many games. What was the? I didn't order. I need to. There was that Reformation game.
Oh, Solafidi.
Solafidi, and there was another one as well that you have been like, oh, this looks cool.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Suffice to say, we're going to spend more money there.
Well, I was looking for a second edition copy of Ukraine 43.
Yeah,
and they have a first edition copy.
Yeah, which is
but
not.
I'm struggling with that.
And I had asked around for some people.
I've asked too,
and they were like, "Do the second edition, don't do the first edition."
Yeah, got it.
So you know. Yeah. If anyone has a second edition copy of Ukraine 43,
we'll pay for it, and we'll pay good money for it.
We'll pay a very reasonable price.
We just want it.
But it's almost, you just can't get it. No one's even offering it hardly. So.
Well, I will say this: I think it's NAC Wargames is doing the Spanish version of that game.
So we want to get the Spanish version and print off the English rules.
I mean, what would really be different? I think all the counters would be in English, right? I mean, it's numbers and the names of the divisions, which is
maybe
German.
Some admin counters, but I don't know.
We'll look at it. But, yeah, anyway.
So, yeah.
We got a problem.
Ukraine 43, let us know.
I just want to play that. That's the only 40X game we haven't played.
We haven't played France, but we have it.
But I have it, yeah. I own it.
And we'll be playing it this year.
Yes.
Is that the only one? Dang.
Yeah.
We did a good job.
We've played We did not play the Little Saturn expansion for 42.
That's an expansion.
But we have played, and I would love to do a video ranking kind of our feelings about all of those once we've played them.
Yeah, I think that would be something.
Anyway.
So
enough time.
We do have some very serious issues here at the Players Aid, but
it's getting worse.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
It's an addiction.
So on to the kind of main topic of today's debrief. This topic was semi-suggested by rat bags. I had written it down. I'm very sorry. I've forgotten who suggested it.
Do you want me to look while you're talking?
Yes.
Because I think you gave me the picture.
Yes, I did.
You gave me the picture.
So if you want to suggest topics, our patrons make a post every month, and they can suggest topics, and we usually pick one from there. And it was Larry.
Larry Jex?
Yep. I
Thanks, Larry.
Say his last name because I didn't want to dox him. But
my brother's name is Larry.
But yeah, appreciate the suggestion. We kind of went with that. So today's topic is we're going to talk about unique themes in war games that we liked.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of unique themes out there and stuff that was meh, or things that we did not like.
Sure.
But we're going to talk about games that have themes that are like, ooh, this is something different, or something a little bit unique, and mechanically add something that was nice to explore, but that are also really good games.
Yep. And I think it's interesting when you mentioned that topic to me. I started searching through my games, and it was interesting. The ones that I found, I felt like predominantly were from smaller publishers.
Yeah, well, I think that is not
uncommon,
an unreasonable phenomenon, right?
Yeah.
You got the big companies out there that are putting out these like really classic prestige
Hex Encounter,
games. You know, you think about GMT, Compass, MMP. They're running these games that's like, you know, something like Normandy 44, right?
Yeah.
It's this quintessential Normandy game. It's been around for a long time. Everyone loves it. You know, for a smaller company to just like put out another Normandy game, that's tough.
It is.
So you want
they've got to do something almost different or unique.
And so I'm going to carve out my niche with something that you've never seen before. That's going to attract people. Or they're smaller and they can afford to take a risk.
Right.
Like maybe some of these bigger companies don't want to gamble on something small.
I think Hollenspiel is one of those kind of companies, right? They don't do 1,000-copy print run. It's all print on demand.
I think Blue Panther's service of print on demand
allows that. Yeah.
They Catastrophe Games.
Yep.
Blue Panther, White Dog.
Yep.
You know, CSL uses a different company, but like these smaller companies that can you work through those print on demand guys allows for some of that stuff too.
I think that agility, right, of the print on demand model and not necessarily being a slave to a 2,000 copy print run.
You don't have to commit the capital up front. There's no storage fees that you're losing money every month. So I think, like you said, I think those small companies often have
Well, that's their niche, I feel like. It's one of their niches that they're filling. Now, some of the games that we're going to talk about today are from the big boys. GMT, you got a Compass one, you got another Compass one. I've got GMT ones here. So it's not just the little guys, but I wanted to bring that up because I think predominantly that's what their catalog. I think of Allegiant Wargames.
Yeah.
They have so many cool. They have games on like the American Indian Wars in the Southwest.
And Legion Wars like specializes it. That's their thesis.
Yeah,
They'll tell
absolutely.
you right up front of their website
that's
games
their
that
goal.
you've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And I love that for them.
And it's ironic. I'm not sure we have a whole lot of Legion.
No, because I have a whole bunch on the shelf here.
And we love it, like Dien Bien Phu. How many games are out there on Dien? Are there a ton?
I think there's a few.
Like Storm Over Dien Bien Phu, then we have that one. Are there others?
I have another solitaire one from an S&T, which I just found. I was like, oh, I should.
Well, and then I think White Dogs has a Dien Bien Phu
But
game.
like they have like Nemesis Burma 1944. That game was awesome.
Yeah.
There's a few Burma games out there, but like
not a ton.
But
but they specialize in that.
They're doing like for example, they had Red vs. Reverse. I can't find it on my shelves. Don't ask why.
Yeah.
This is like a very singular battle in the Boer War, right? How many of you have played a Boer War game? It's very few of you. Don't lie. Let alone this specific battle.
Is Victoria Cross the same thing?
No, that's the Anglo-Zulu War.
Okay. So
we futzed around on the continent for a while there.
Yeah.
But the best part of that game is this command structure. You issue your commands. You literally issue commands to your guys, and then they roll to see how long it takes the orders to get to them based on the board, and then they have a personality and they roll to see if they want to implement them correctly, because some of them are really independent and want to do their own thing.
And that game's set in like the 1800s?
No, it's the
1900s?
late 1900s. Yeah. So it's
You mean late 1800s?
No, it's the early 1900s. Sorry.
Like 1910. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't have it on the. I swear it was right here. But yeah, it's like 1904 and 5. I think it's around there.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's just one battle.
People are laughing at us right now.
But like Legion has another one in that series, in that same conflict coming out.
Okay.
Which I could not be more
excited. The cover
excited
looks
for.
amazing.
Yeah.
I saw the cover on that one.
And
I can't remember the name of it, but
it's
it
called
looks amazing.
Failure on the Decalia.
Okay.
Which is a river. But like the system in that is so unique. What you're doing is so unique. But the theme, the actual tactical space you're working in, awesome. Love those.
I was going to try to find that because I know I tweeted it out a couple weeks ago, but it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. I'll
start it off.
So this one's not really a war game. I kind of get it.
Well, yeah, it's not necessarily a war game, but it is a card-driven influence game.
And so this is, it's one of those CDG games like Twilight Struggle, and you're adding influence to places. But this is the prelude to kind of the Canadian rebellion that launched themselves into independence, basically. You've never played a game on that. The reality is you haven't.
First game that I ever played on that was this.
And they've subsequently made Prelude to Revolution, which is, I think it's...
Russian Revolution.
And is it 1917? Oh, it's 1905 to 1917.
Yep. Same system.
But also, we've played a bunch of Russian Revolution games.
Yep.
There's a lot of them out there. This Canadian mobilization and unrest games, you've not done that. So I really liked this game.
This was a fun game.
It was very fun, even though when you look at it, it's just like lines of cubes and they kind of look like a bar graph. But what you're doing was really enjoyable. I thought the theme was neat. And any time you get to shine light on something that's a little bit different, I think that's great.
Well, and this game also had custom dice. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
But lots of cool elements and beautiful production.
Yeah,
this was a really high quality.
They did a really good job on that one. So that's Prelude to Rebellion from Compass Games.
And Compass is a big publisher, but they did a kind of a unique...
Yeah.
I want to talk about this one, and I've got a stack over here. I wish I hadn't brought all of them. But this is a cooperative game, so you're working together, but it's the Red Burnous, Algeria, 1857. So you are playing as the Berbers, right? Mm-hmm. Resisting the French as they come into your country. And you are literally playing as one of these villages in the Berber countryside in the mountains. and you are in control of a certain number of villages. If you play it 2 players, each of you have 4 or 5 villages. And it's a deck building game. So you are building your deck focused around the traditional roles at this time period of a Berber village. So the cards are literally called young man, young woman, woman, old woman.
Yeah, child.
Man. I mean, and they all have their different thematic role and the ability on their cards. The mujahideen and the men are more your muscle, right? They're the ones out there shooting the advancing French and laying ambushes. Everyone else is doing support work to feed and clothe and make them.
And you're also like moving weapons around.
Yep,
And then
from village to village.
Stockpiling them so that you can use them.
Yeah.
And there's, because it's this deck builder, but there's all the symbol matching stuff going on. And it was just so fun.
Well, one of the best parts, you mentioned it, you might have better cards than, say, your friend. You've just had better luck. And it's like, I can put a couple of my better cards under one of your villages. And once you play all your cards, you get to scoop those cards up and now use them. It's just so unique and interesting.
And then you've just got these French that just keep marching in and marching in. You've got to fight them off, and they might dominate you.
They've got cannons and cavalry, but a very good game from Hit 'em with a Shoe Games, probably one of the more unique names in wargame publishing. Very much enjoyed this game. This one came out a couple of years ago. I'm so very glad that we played it.
Yeah.
You can play it solo.
A stunning front cover, by the way.
Well, and that's one of the main heroes, Fadma. I can't remember the name, but the red burnous is what she wore. It's a reference to her clothing. Just a fantastic game. Yes. Custom dice.
I really, really like this.
There's a lot to like. So I remember this, once again, a niche, a very, very, I've never played a game on 1857 Algeria.
Yeah.
Right? But it was so good, unique, and interesting, and frankly was a fun game to play.
Yes. It was very, very, very good.
Very much enjoyed that. And I would love to see them do other things, but I know they haven't really done it. That's been like 2 years ago.
I know. I'm like, I'll make more.
But such a good job.
Another one, this also is from Compass Games, is Lion of Judah, War for Ethiopia, 1935-1941. So who designed this? Is it on the box somewhere?
Oh yeah, I know who designed it.
It was Javier Romero.
Yep. He's a great designer.
This game is awesome.
This game is incredible. I don't even think awesome is enough. We played this, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it.
Excuse me.
You had just moved into the house here.
Yep.
We didn't really have a fully functioning table.
We didn't have anything.
Or lights. Yeah. We had a lamp. And it was raining cats and frickin' dogs.
Yeah.
And was thunder. And we played all frickin' night. Yeah. And I had a blast.
If you watch the review for this, because there is a review for this.
The camera's like tilted.
And it's so ridiculous. Dark.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And the lighting's real weird because we had literal like lampshade lamps just off to the side.
Why was that?
I can't remember.
Was there like a breaker blown?
I don't.
Because you guys had just moved into the house like that week.
I think we were trying to redo the lights.
And you had taken them down.
And like whatever we bought hadn't worked, and so we did. It's a bit of a nightmare, but this game's incredible. I don't know if Compass actually has this anymore. I feel like I remember they said that it went end of life, but if you can find this,
it's so good.
It's really 2 games in one. So you have the 1936 or 1935 initial Italian invasion of Ethiopia, and then you have the 1941 British kind of reconquest of
So this is like the very beginning of World War I, right?
I mean, it's pre-World.
East Africa.
It's pre-World War II.
I'm sorry, World War II. It's like, but it's in East Africa. I don't know. It was so cool because you had, I was the tribesman, if I remember correctly, and I think you were the Italians.
Yes, I think that's what we did.
And I remember you were trying to bribe my tribes and like trying to get them to switch over, and it was just so very interesting and unique.
You're like digging roads in this game.
Yeah, it was so cool.
It's and the
never played a game on it before.
Yeah,
or since.
Because the different tribes. Do you remember they had like
leaders.
Unknown combat strengths.
Oh, yes.
You'd flip them over and it was like, oh!
And I didn't even know what they were.
Yeah. Just so,
very cool.
So good as a game, and also it's a piece of history that's really unique as you're playing with it.
Yeah.
And it is a huge success. I don't know if... go buy this game.
Well, and the cover, look at the cover. I mean, that's one of the greatest covers I've ever seen.
It's awesome.
I love that game.
It's such a good game.
Yep. I enjoyed that game so very much. I've got a couple of series games I want to talk about here.
Yeah.
So, and we've got a bunch here. Okay, so, once you hold two of these, and we've only played two of these. I still have yet to play the other. We have played Kekionga and Walking a Bloody Path. So these 4 games are from High Flying Dice Games. So these are games you're going to pay like $15 for. I think nowadays they're like $19. But they're folio bag games. You can see they're not the highest production, but that doesn't matter because the art is incredible.
Yeah, because the art's done by Niels Johansson.
And actually the first game that I saw was Kekionga, and it is like volume number, I want to say it's 2. And the series is the Battles of the Old Northwest series. So it is like in the 1790s, as the Americans were winning the American War of Independence, going into the frontier, which is Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and I think parts of Minnesota.
Is this the one? Which is the one with like the 3D map in it?
I think it's Tippecanoe, if I'm not mistaken. This map is incredible. The Walking a Bloody Path. It's got this one has 3D stuff in it.
Is that the 3D one?
Yeah, the river looks 3D. Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is
that's the one you're talking about.
This is what I'm thinking about. Okay, I'm going to get this out so you can see.
It is pretty cool.
So like...
one of the more different approaches I've ever seen to a war game map.
So this is a full-on, just like, landscape painting that they've superimposed this hex encounter grid onto.
On top of.
And
it's incredible.
Like, I mean, amazing.
It's so cool.
Amazing.
These are not only good little games, right? I enjoyed Kekionga, I enjoyed Walking a Bloody Path. They use a card activation system, so you literally use a deck of face cards.
Yeah.
You take out certain cards and you kind of war off, and then when you win, that's how many activations you get. But it's move and shoot. You get morale checks. It gets pretty bloody.
You run out of ammo real quick.
You get low ammo markers. It's just a very unique and interesting
and these
series.
Are such small pieces of local history, often with like 50 guys.
Yep.
And like, you know, these are also pretty local to us.
Yeah, so Kekionga was fought in Fort Wayne, current day Fort Wayne. Tippecanoe is around Purdue University in Lafayette.
Wabash River.
So that's in Indiana, and then the Walking a Bloody Path is in Ohio, like Maumee, Ohio.
So we love that.
Oh, and these games are really cool. If you haven't played one of these, get on their website and pick one of these up that you think looks the best.
Invest the extra money in the counters.
Oh yeah, get the mounted counters. I paid the extra to get the mounted counters, and they make a big difference.
Trust me, you don't want to do it yourself.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But we've enjoyed these games. There are 6 of these. I only have 4 of them. I keep pushing. Paul Rohrbaugh is the designer and the owner of that company, and I keep pushing him. I'm like, hey, Paul, I'm telling you, if you put all 6 of these into a single volume,
put them in a mounted box.
You could charge $70, $80, and people would pay for it. With this art and these components and the gameplay, it's very, very solid.
Do it.
But very good games on a unique part of our history, that Frontier War.
And a couple of those, the ones that we did, have full reviews on our channel if you just want to search for those.
And I did some written stuff as well, but really great little games. The other games I wanted to point out from High Flying Dice Games, they have a line of Vietnam War games. Now, we played one of them and absolutely hated it. We didn't feel like it was a game, right? Because everything that you start the game on is total randomness rolling, and the game was over before we even got started.
The game was over during the setup.
Yeah, And it said in the rules, that's a possibility. I'm like, come on, man. Just get past that. Set me up historically.
It's a
and
probability.
Move on. Yeah.
It happens regularly.
But this is one, Long Cruel Woman. And the thing I like about this series is he names them for famous songs of the time. So Long Cruel Woman is based on the Holly song, Woman in a Black Dress. It's just really cool. But this is the attack on Firebase Marianne in 1971. I played this solo. I loved it. There's a video on our channel, a written review on the blog. But I think they have about 12 of these. I have 2 or 3 of them. We've never gotten around to playing any others other than I played this one. But they're so good. They're just unique. Once again, you're going to pay like $18. It's a polybag game. But, I mean, look at that art. It's great. And the counters are really good. This is a very good game.
Again, invest in the mounted counters.
Yeah, you got to pay the extra. I think it's like $5 extra.
It's well worth it.
Yeah, I think the first game I got from them didn't have those, and I'm like, I regretted it, so I never bought another one without paying the extra cost.
Speaking of series games, I've got here the Attack on Cahokia game.
We got to laugh at it. It should have just been an Attack on Cahokia.
I agree.
That's it.
So
take out the game.
There's this series of games from the historical game company called Attack on Cahokia game. So this is this series has like 20 games.
Well, and we've played Fort Jefferson Attack.
Attack on Fort Jefferson, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we played Attack on Cahokia game. Yeah, Fort Jefferson Attack game.
Yeah, that's what it was. Fort Jefferson Attack game.
And this one is Attack on Cahokia game.
And there's about 8 of them.
Yeah, we've got Saratoga up here.
Yep.
I think there's more. I think there's a lot more than 8.
I think I've got another one at home.
I think there's 8 of like this time period.
Yeah.
But like they have like Siege of New Delhi and like
Yep.
all sorts of other stuff going on.
Yep.
And
they're good little introductory games.
Yeah. So these are published by Blue Panther, and for reference, this
beautiful
is the map.
canvas boards.
It comes with a canvas map, but it's just this little guy.
Yep.
Well, Hex Encounter War Game. Here's the counters. You're gonna play. It's also a card activation system. It kind of reminds me in a way of
high flying dice
games. It's a little bit different, but it reminds me of that. These take about an hour to play at most.
We did a full playthrough of
Fort Jefferson, I think.
Fort Jefferson. It's on the channel.
These are just like fun little games, and again, you know, they got Saratoga. We've all played 100 Saratoga games,
but not an Attack on Cahokia game.
Attack on Cahokia.
I had to do. I'm an American history buff, particularly of the American War of Independence. I had to look this one up. This was on that Western frontier.
Yeah.
Just very, very cool, right?
And even Fort Jefferson attack game, like I don't.
Yeah.
Like these are. I don't want to say minor battles, but
they were minor battles.
They're relatively unknown,
obscure
skirmishes and battles, and it's that obscurity that makes a game like this so tantalizing because mechanically these are really easy to learn.
And actually, all the series games are very similar mechanically.
Yeah, but you know the tactical situations are different enough where you're not just playing the same game over and over again. But like you said, it's this was cool. Let me get onto the internet. Let me go to the bookshop.
Yep.
And they lead you down these rabbit holes where you're just like, oh, this is so cool. There's so much interesting history.
Well, and the designer of this, Stephen L. Kling, he's an author and has written a ton of books on the American Revolutionary War. So his style and what he's looking for, he finds stuff that's really unique and cool. And I'm actually glad we found these games, and I still want to play like that Saratoga game. I can see it right over there. Yeah. So, but they come out with games all the time.
Yeah, THGC, they have a ton of these.
Yeah.
And they just keep making them.
Yep.
Really, really, really fun.
Because they're solid, and I think they appeal to a lot of different folks.
Yeah, and you can get anyone to play this.
Yeah.
Because it's not complicated.
Your dad, I think your wife would play that with you. Wargame friends, anybody would play it. Okay, so I wanted to go to a big boy, right? Let's go ahead and do
some coin games.
Yeah, because these are definitely unique games.
Yeah, so
right?
we talked about some small guys.
Yep.
You know, Compass isn't a small guy, but, you know, where small guys do that. However, sometimes big companies really invest in things that are, like, very different. So All Bridges Burning is the kind of Red Revolt. So this is that kind of Finnish civil war during the First World War, basically, with outside influences.
And we played actually one more game on that topic called 1918 Brother Against Brother.
Which was really good.
Oh, it was really... That was
so good.
Linden Lake Games,
Linden
I
Lake
think.
Games, yeah.
Oh, we enjoyed. Card-driven game, very cool.
Yeah, in
very
1918 cool. Brother Against Brother, if you can get that, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't know how easy that is to get a hold
Yeah.
of. You might be able to buy it from them still, but that was really good. But this is much more widely available.
Yep.
It's in that coin system, but unlike the other coins, this one is much more of a war game. I think this kind of first half of the game, it's a little bit coin where you're like trying to spread yourself out and get prepared and get set up, but you're investing in lots of military resources, basically.
Yeah.
And then once that second half of the game kicks off and the Germans land and then
It's a war game.
The Soviet forces show up, you're like, oh, snap.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about this one is there are two factions that are more the fighters,
Yeah,
right?
it's the Reds
and the Whites. They're fighting. They have the Russians on their side and then the Germans. And the moderates are kind of stuck in the middle.
They're just trying to
survive.
Stop the fighting.
And I played the moderates the last time we played this game, and it was such a unique and different experience than what you were experiencing as the war game side.
Very different.
But it was still uber interesting. I enjoyed this game a lot. It's not my favorite of the coins, but it definitely is one that is unique and addresses a very cool topic.
It's mechanically very unique and quite divergent in a number of ways. But again, thematically, this is something that's quite unique. There's not a ton of games on this.
Yeah.
And this is a good implementation of that as well.
Agreed. Well, and like you said, the coin series is an established series. There's, 11 volumes with 12, 13, 14 coming out. And to change it up like VPJR Ponen did and make it a fun and interesting playable game, very, very good accomplishment. And I really enjoyed it. So Gandhi is another one. This is volume 9 in the coin series by Bruce Mansfield?
Yes.
Right? This is one we have not played as much as some of the others.
Yeah, I think I played this twice.
Yep.
I think.
And it's very unique. It's very interesting. It throws a lot of new curveballs into the system.
Yes.
Also has I think the first non-violent faction.
Yeah, so this was the first one that had non-violent factions in it, where they're doing protests and things.
And getting arrested.
This one was very different in that your underground pieces functioned the opposite of how they normally do, where when they're face down, they don't do anything or can't do anything.
When they're face up, they can do their abilities.
When they're face up, they do, so that was very different. This is very different. They introduced lots of new things.
Yep.
This one is very, very cool.
But we really need to play this one again.
No, absolutely. We've taken it to a few conventions. It's just not happened.
Yeah.
But I think part of that is also I'm not as comfortable with the rules.
Sure.
I want to sit down and really grok those so I could teach it easily and we can do it.
One of the things I really enjoyed about this one was the arresting concept and the jail. Now that's been replicated and put into the British way.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just so unique.
And didn't People Power have that too?
Did People Power have arresting? Maybe they did.
They definitely have the action of doing it.
Sure.
I think they have some of that.
But you're also protesting in that one.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, Gandhi, very cool topic. And it's a beautiful game. This is probably one of the more beautiful coin games.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
From the art and the way the board looks once it's all set up. The other one that I wanted to highlight, and this is not the first French-Algerian war game that has been made. Brian has actually made another one. It is now on Rally the Troops.
I think it's called Algeria, right?
Yeah, it's called Algeria. But this one is a 2-player only coin game. It has the special, unique 2-player sequence of play, the activation that has now been replicated in the British way, and it was used in the War in the South expansion for Liberty or Death. But unique topic.
Is it on here?
What?
Or is it? Yeah, it's here. So it's actually a little bit different from
Sure.
the British way.
Sure.
It's the same.
But it's
for
the same
that-
concept,
yeah.
though. It's just, I think this one is one of the more unique volumes of the coin series. I know I enjoyed this one more than you did.
Yeah, this one I don't like because it's 2-player.
Sure. Coin is best played with 4, I think, or more.
Yeah. Although conversely, I'll say the British way is one of the best.
Oh,
ones
it's
out there.
fantastic.
And I can't really
Put your finger on it.
either of those. That.
This is a good game, though. It's different. It's unique.
But yeah,
But it's on a topic that I've not played a lot of. Now, we did talk about the Red Burnous, which was Algeria, but 100 years earlier.
Yeah,
right.
And very, very different.
Yep,
though, right?
very different.
Whereas this is, Brian's the only person who's done another one.
Yep.
And yeah. That's it.
I really like all 3 of these volumes, and I'm very glad that the coin series kind of explored them.
But I think it's neat that GMT, and Compass can also take those risks and put out stuff that's unique.
Yeah.
Speaking of GMT, we're going to mention Border Reavers, which, is it a war game? Is it not a war game?
Who cares?
We're not
It's a
going to have that
great game.
argument. What we're going to do is we're going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So this is a game of on the Scottish-English border, quite literally, people
Raiding each other.
raiding each other,
Stealing livestock.
wrestling cattle and stealing livestock and committing to some wars and fights and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it's fun. You've never.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't think there's another game that covers
No.
this particular topic at this particular time period.
And I feel bad because we've only played this once. I got sick halfway through at WBC, had to leave, ultimately went to the hospital the next day, but I had a blast with it.
But this is one that take it to a convention.
Oh, no
get
doubt.
6 people together.
Yeah.
We'll give it a go.
And it's a weird game, right? You can play it, I think it's 3, 4, or 6.
So
I don't think you can do 5.
you're going to play this 4-player or 6-player.
There you go.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
You can do it with 2, but
Yeah.
you want to play it with lots of people so that there's lots of interaction.
Yep.
And you just can't do it with 5 people. Technically, I think you might be able to legally, but
You got it.
Ed was you should not.
Well, and I want to point out, not only is it a unique topic, but there are horse meeples. So you're using horses, and then there are sheep meeples. This is what you're stealing.
Yeah, the sheep is really what you're stealing.
And then these help you, I think, in the wars and movements. But such a unique game. I really would like to play this at a convention.
Without question, yeah.
Because and we were playing it with Ed Beach. I just wish I'd felt better and that I could finish that. When I went and left in the middle of the game, I was not feeling well.
Yeah, it's...
Because it was fun.
It was also very valuable hearing it from Ed because there's a lot of different types of cards and weird exceptions to things, and hearing it from him was whilst very long, very interesting.
It was funny. He took about an hour to get us into the game, but it was really cool because he was going into depth, and it was very interesting historically. So, very much different game than Here I Stand, Virgin Queen, Tanto Monta. This is Ed's kind of homage to this period of history. Another one that I wanted to talk about, because I really like Fort Circle games. There are 2 games that have come out, are first The Shores of Tripoli, raise your hand if you've played a game on the Shores of Tripoli.
This one.
This one, right? I don't even know that there's any other game out there on this subject.
There may
be,
but it's probably an old S&T magazine, right?
But this is a very cool card-driven game designed by Kevin Bertram. This was their first game. This is a blast, right? There's pirates. You're either the Moroccan pirates or trying to remember the other countries off the top of my head.
So it's Algeria,
Tripoli, Morocco, Algeria. Yeah, Egypt. Well, they're not the pirates, but that's where the Americans are trying to go. But the Americans are trying to come over and control this area and stop the piracy, right? Such a very cool game. Such a great little system.
I'm so bad at this game.
Oh, I am. I think I am too. and that's okay because I still enjoy it.
I'm so bad at this game.
Sure. Kevin invited us to a tournament one time, and I actually laughed at him. I'm like, Kevin, we've played this game 4 or 5 times, and I'm terrible at it.
I've played it on Rally the Troops a couple of times, and I just routinely get my butt spanked.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like,
yeah,
in a way that's like embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so sorry you wasted your time playing.
Yeah, right.
Like,
but such a very cool game.
It's fun.
Yeah, their second game was Votes for Women on the suffragist movement. Their third game coming up is the, surprise, surprise, the Shores of Tripoli and the Halls of Montezuma, right? So that's
but again, something that's pretty unique right?
game. They are going to have a lot of very unique games coming out. That Hunt for Blackbeard that I talked about earlier. They've got the first Monday in October or Tuesday in October, which is the Supreme Court. So definitely a unique game. It's beautiful. I mean, the production of this is just off the charts.
And that's that's the same for Votes for Women as well. Like, they don't spare on the production value.
It's beautiful. That is one of the better boxes too.
Yeah,
you can jump up and down on that, and it's not going anywhere.
They make one game every 2 years.
Yep.
But like,
I think they're going to start making some more. I think they've got 4 or 5 that are in the works.
I'll believe it when I see it.
We'll see it. Kevin works very hard at it. But it takes a lot.
Because it's like just him, basically.
It is, with his supporting designer friends, right? But great game. Very much enjoy it. Love the topic. I wanted to talk about these, and then I'll probably not talk about
There's so many, honestly,
those.
we could go on.
So I played this one solo. This is called the Battle of Mackinac Island. How many games have you played on the Battle of Mackinac Island?
How many people know where the Mackinac Island is?
Mackinac Island is on the north part. It's the UP in Michigan, and this is during the War of 1812. This was a battle where the Americans came onto Mackinac Island and basically got routed because they were idiots. I mean, it was so funny. They tried to land over here and like everybody saw them, and then they tried to sail around the other side of the island, and it's like, dude, we can see you. It's not like you're hiding from us. And then they basically tried to frontal assault this British fort, and it just didn't go well, right? And it didn't go well for me when I played this game either. But that's okay. It was a blast. I played it solo. You can play it 2-player. It's from Snafu Design, and it is the first game in the Pocket Battles series. I recently acquired a copy of Volume 2 in the Pocket Battles series. I'm going to say this, Beresheko 1651. Right?
Berestechko?
There you go.
Yeah.
That was better than what I said. The Fate of the Zaporizhian Cossacks. So this is a great little Polish game, right?
It's Ukrainian, but sure.
Whatever. No, I think there's some Poles in it.
You think?
Yeah.
It might be. Polish, Lithuanian.
Haven't played it yet.
Crimean Tatars.
But this is a brand new game that I would hope that we could play because it plays like in 1 hour.
Yeah.
But once again, a couple of unique games from Snafu. And if you haven't checked out Snafu's catalog, they are a Catalan publisher. Mark, I think I got it right, if I'm not mistaken. Not a Spanish publisher.
Oh, hell no. You don't make stuff
Catalan. And they make great little games. They really do. I think both of these are going to be good. I know this one's good because I've already played it. And this one I've clipped the counters and organized it.
Is it systematic, like the same mechanics?
No, it's not. It's totally different. More of a traditional kind of hex and counter game.
I almost like that. When series are more thematically tied.
Sure.
I think that offers something that's neat and unique as well. I like that.
I think the focus of this series is just small battles.
Yeah.
Right? But
again, it enables you to get to battles that
never played a game on this. Never played a game on that.
Do I want to play an East Front game that's this size?
Probably not. We've played some East Front games.
But do I want to play like a unique small skirmish?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Count me in. So
I think the last one I want to talk about is Freedom. Get that.
Oh yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah. It was so good. I tried to play it solo, and the solo bot just didn't work for me.
That's okay.
I kind of gave up.
Okay. Freedom. Sorry. Freedom! It's got an exclamation mark, and it's all in capitals. From Phalanx. This game is so good.
It's a card-driven game.
It's
a siege game.
It's a siege, so it's the Greeks, and they're trying to hold out against the Ottomans.
Yep.
And basically, they successfully do so, defeating the Ottomans, and it leads to their independence.
I wanted to show the board because I just think it's so unique.
So yeah, it is. It's.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So they have this regional map up here, and everything up here affects what happens down in the siege.
Yeah, so this is like you're trying to get into
like
these
reinforcements
places,
and food,
supplies, and all that stuff.
And then down here you can see these zones.
It is a tactical siege game.
Yep. So you're moving units up. You're shooting the walls. The walls are shooting at you. You're trying to get out into the ocean. I think if you take that island, you end up ultimately winning.
Yeah, you're like you can walk along the beaches to try to circumvent, but it's
very hard. But it's very cool. It's a cool little card-driven game.
It's so good. You've never played anything like this.
It uses cubes, and you just have to worry about everything from supply to cards to combat. And it's just a great-looking game.
It is mechanically unique, but also thematically unique.
Yeah,
as well.
And this is it the second Greek War of Independence? Greek War of Independence.
Yeah, I don't.
And this is in 1825 and 1826.
And I don't know.
So unique. Vangelis Bagiartakis.
Yeah,
I think I got it right.
I think I really like games where a nation's independence is at stake.
Yeah.
Like some games where it's just like, it's my guys against your guys, cool. That's fine. But I think I really like struggles for independence. Because I think I really value independence and freedom just generally. But I think about some of my favorite games out there, and that is often a theme in them.
Sure.
And I think it excites the designers from these countries, because he's a Greek designer, he wanted to design a game on that, and that's why I think that kind of excitement and reverence and national pride is part of what makes this good, because so much love and interest and knowledge went into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That game kind of sparks that.
And I do think that's one of these things historically that's becoming more in vogue. It is harder for someone who is not Greek to design this game, right? Only because they understand the history a little better, the nuance.
And they're going to push it.
Right.
Like
if you and I designed this game, it would be cool.
I wouldn't even think to design it, though.
Sure.
I think that's part of it. Whereas he's like,
I'm going to design a game
I
on
would like
this.
to design a game on this because I think 100%. It's really awesome. I'd like to see this.
Yeah.
He's going to put so much force behind that and continue working until it gets done.
Yep.
And I'm like, I didn't even know that this existed,
sure.
Right? I think that's a part of it as well.
Yeah. Well, and I think the one thing that I think is in common, there's a thread between all these games that we talked about, it is passion for history.
Yes.
Because a lot of these battles barely meet the definition of battles, right?
Yeah, some of these definitely.
Some of these are a couple of guys here, but that doesn't matter. This was still a historical happening that had an effect somewhat on history. If the Ottomans had won this, might have been different, right?
Would have been very different.
If the Nazis would have won, Orange Shall Overcome, because that's a great game.
But I kind of bring this up because, it's a Dutch designer and he has this passion and
his
family
grandmother
history
is in the game
for this,
right?
and that extra level of love and dedication that went into this that he published himself is you can see that in
Marcel
the game,
Kohler.
and it's so good.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that no one else could have done it. What I'm saying is that I'm so glad that we have a hobby and an industry where people's individual passions can kind of skyrocket to give us games that are really good to play and thematically interesting and unique.
I love good hex and counter war games. We talk about that all the time. There's something magical about them, romantic.
Give me BCS any day of the week.
I'll play them all the time. But I'm telling you, this side of history and this style of game, I think has just as much merit in our hobby
without question.
as kinetic combat hex and counter war games. I'll play those. I'll play the hell out of those. But I also want to play these games. These games that we've talked about spark my interest in learning and understanding the human condition. That's what history is about. Why did this happen? How did it happen? How do we stop it from happening again?
How did we overcome this? And what can we take from it? You know, and I also think that we're at a point in time within the hobby where, you know, the hobby's been around for like 50, 60 years now.
There's 100 East Front games.
But it's
200 East Front games.
But the hobby has been built on that platform of like 100 East Front games,
100 Bulls games, 100 D-Day games.
And there's nothing wrong
They're
with
awesome.
that.
We've played a lot of them, and we'll keep playing them.
But brick by brick, we've built this really big hobby with that stuff so that we can support Battle of Mackinac Island.
Yeah.
Because if you'd have released that...
25 years ago, probably
50 years ago.
It wouldn't have gone anywhere.
It would have just been very different, right?
Yep.
And so I think we're at a point now where wargaming and historical gaming is really spreading its wings, and we're getting an incredible variety of unique and interesting topics. Like we talked about Maori Wars. That game needs a bit of a developer for the rule book, but the game itself is stunning to look at, and it was really fun to play.
Well, and it had a lot of unique mechanics that taught us a lot about the history of those wars.
Yeah.
Which was very, very cool.
You can go onto Legion Wargames website and scroll all of the 5,000 games they have on their CPOs that will take 15 years to get printed. And you'll see stuff in there that you're like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? And you'll want to buy all of them.
One of the games of theirs that it first caught my eye, and I still don't own a copy of it, it's the Battle of Adobe Walls, which
is that the part of the...
It's like their Rosebud Battle series. There's like 3 or 4 games.
Battle of Rosebud Creek.
Yeah, I still don't have it. I still have not played it, but it's one of those games that in my mind... The moment I have an opportunity to get it, I'm going to get it because it looks so unique and interesting. And I'm just grateful that there's companies. You know, my final comment on this is I want to name those 3 or 4 companies that I think do this very, very well. And there's a lot of others out there. There's so many. I think High Flying Dice Games does a hell of a job on this. They not only make good, interesting, unique games, they're affordable.
That's also,
They're in it to make a little bit of money, but they're not in it to get rich. They really are not. And you're going to get what you pay for. Sometimes you're going to get a map that's not that great. And that's okay. You play it, you still learn history, right? Legion Wargames, I think, is one of the best.
I think so, too.
Their catalog is chock full of games that are amazing. You can look right there over your right shoulder. All of those games are amazing. We've played about half of those.
Yeah.
Captain C, Target for Today, Gian Ben Phu, Soysons. You played Aces of Valor. We're going to get Invasion Malta. Now, that's not a unique and interesting game. There's a bunch of Malta games, but they do so many great games.
But, okay, so they also did this very recently.
The Stalingrad of the North.
Which
Velkieluki.
Yep.
The Stalingrad of the North.
You've never played a game on that, I promise you that.
Yep.
So, Invasion Malta, great. There's lots of
bonus
Malta
game.
games. Invasion includes bonus game, Battle of Leros. You've not played that.
Yeah. Isn't that a what-if game?
I have no idea.
That part of it? Okay.
I don't know.
So anyway, High Flying Dice Games, Legion War Games, and now I've drawn a blank on my third one. Hollandspiel, I think, does a lot. We have played so many games on unique and interesting. Empire of Sunrise was one that I didn't necessarily enjoy as much, but it was
Siege of Mantua, right?
That was a great game. That was unique as hell.
I think the other one. So I'm thinking of
Supply Lines of the American Revolution. What a cool focus.
Demiansk Shield.
Yep.
Okay.
Great game.
Legion War Games, Demiansk Shield. We talked about, like, kind of jokingly about, it's East Front games. Oh, that's not what we're doing. Demiansk Shield is an East Front game. It is a very specific battle that you have not played before, and it is really good. It's so good.
I still have such fond memories of our 8-hour.
It is one of the most memorable wargaming.
I would agree with that
experiences we've had.
But yeah, Hollandspiel definitely is good. I also think Salt and Pepper. We didn't really. But The Hunt and Resist. These are 2 of their great. Operation Barkley coming up. They just do such great.
I think
little cool,
that's
unique
a little
games.
Company that's going to chug along with a game a year until they've got this nice little catalog.
Capstone's another one. You know, Watergate, not necessarily a war game, but a great historical game.
They did Weimar.
Weimar. They did, what is that little chess game that we still have not played?
It's called Match of the Century.
How cool is that? That they made a cool little historical game about that, right?
Yeah.
So there's 3 or 4 companies. There are others, but I'm so appreciative of the small publishers who focus on that. I'm also appreciative of the big guys, Compass, GMT, and others who have focused on those kinds of games as well. Don't get me wrong. You give me 199th East Front Wargame, I'm going to play it.
Yep.
But you give me the Battle of Beresheko, I want to play that.
Yeah.
I want to play it, right? So this was a great topic. When you told me about it, I thought, yeah, that could be really good.
Well, because we've played a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have, from that Polish company that I forget what the name is, TS.
Yes.
I have
Arsuf.
1191, The Battle of Arsuf, which I think is a Crusades game. We don't play a lot of Crusades here, just because we haven't.
Yep.
But like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they have an El Alamein game. Now, I know there's been a couple of games on El Alamein, but not as many as some of the other battles.
100 Tobruk games.
Well, yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, because Tobruk's amazing.
But like, yeah, there's just games out there on so many different topics, and some of those are just so interesting to kind of play around with and dive into. Because you're going to go down that historical rabbit hole, you're going to buy a book, you're going to sit on Wikipedia, and you're going to enrich yourself.
Yep. And I think that's one of the reasons we do this.
Yeah.
Learning, exploring, expanding our minds and understanding of the world, and to have a good time. And a lot of these games are very interesting and fun.
Well, and that's kind of part of what we wanted to make in this video, was that they were also good. Like, all these games we've played, we've enjoyed them.
Some are better than others, but yeah, they're all good games, or we wouldn't have talked about them. We would have traded them away, right?
True.
So, yeah, I've had a good time doing this topic. This was an excellent topic. Who recommended it?
Thanks, Larry.
Larry. I have a brother named Larry. Yeah.
So, I know this was a bit of a marathon. Thank you very much for sticking with us.
Yeah.
We'll be back
in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Where we'll have played a bunch of June games. We'll be looking forward to July, which hopefully some more plans come to fruition in July. Like we've been pushing some big games back and back and back. So looking forward to July as well. We've got a lot in the works. So thanks very much for tuning in and sticking with us. I've been Alexander from theplayersaid.com.
And I'm Grant.